For many gardeners, composting feels like a waiting game that never ends. You mix your greens and browns, keep the pile damp, even turn it now and then, but months later, it's still half-rotted, full of clumps, and nowhere near that dark, crumbly humus we all aim for. The truth is, most gardeners focus on speed tricks like aeration or heat, but the Amish learned generations ago that the real secret isn't in how often you turn your compost, it's in what's feeding the microbes at the microscopic level, and this one overlooked ingredient changes everything. The real reason your compost is slow isn't lack of heat, it's lack of microbial food. Composting depends on microbes breaking down organic matter. These bacteria, fungi, and actinomycetes need three things to thrive: carbon, nitrogen, and trace minerals. Most gardeners provide carbon from dried leaves or straw and nitrogen from kitchen scraps or manure. But what often goes missing is the trace mineral buffet that powers microbial metabolism. Without these trace nutrients, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, boron, zinc, and iron, your compost microbes slow down, their enzyme systems stall, and decomposition grinds to a crawl. The Amish discovered that simply balancing the microbial diet accelerates composting far more effectively than just aerating or heating the pile. Their solution was simple: feed the microbes with what they called living dust. This wasn't some expensive additive or chemical, it was rock dust and wood ash blended in small, precise amounts into the compost layers. When done correctly, it creates an electrically charged, mineral-rich environment where microbes multiply rapidly, heat rises naturally, and organic matter breaks down evenly without constant turning. The Amish method begins with what looks like ordinary wood ash, but not just any ash. It's fine, gray hardwood ash from clean, untreated firewood, mixed with powdered rock dust or crushed basalt in a 1-to-1 ratio. For every 3-inch layer of compost material, they sprinkle a thin dusting of this mix, just enough to coat the surface, roughly 1 handful per square foot. It's not about quantity, but distribution. Each microlayer adds both alkalinity and essential trace minerals that neutralize excess acidity, balance carbon and nitrogen reactions, and act as a microbial stimulant. When you add this mineral blend, the microbes respond immediately. The heat within the pile rises more evenly because their metabolism becomes efficient again, like adding oxygen to a dying flame. The result is faster decomposition, reduced odor, and a more balanced compost that's richer in calcium, phosphorus, and potassium. Amish farmers often claim their compost finishes in half the time compared to ordinary piles, and, modern soil science supports that. Minerals act like enzyme cofactors, tiny keys that unlock biochemical processes inside microbes. Without them, even with good airflow and moisture, decomposition stays sluggish. Some Amish gardeners enhance this mineral layering by occasionally sprinkling diluted compost tea or molasses water between layers. This adds simple sugars that serve as microbial fuel, allowing bacteria and fungi to multiply faster. When this method works correctly, you'll see a transformation within 6 to 8 weeks. The material shrinks down evenly, no longer has any recognizable scraps, and develops that deep forest floor smell of humus. The texture becomes crumbly, dark, and slightly moist. Signs that beneficial microbes have fully stabilized the organic matter. Gardeners who've adopted this Amish-inspired method often notice that crops grown with this compost show stronger root systems and more resilience against drought or disease. That's because the mineralized compost doesn't just feed plants, it rebuilds the microbial networks that keep soil alive. In essence, it's a self-sustaining fertility system rather than a short-term fertilizer fix. The genius of the Amish composting method is that it doesn't rely on speed tricks or commercial boosters. It's about feeding the invisible workers, the microbes, what they need to thrive. Once their environment is balanced with trace minerals and mild alkalinity, decomposition becomes natural and continuous. Whether you're managing a small backyard bin or a large rural pile, applying a handful of living dust between each layer can transform your composting results in a single season. If your pile has been sitting cold and lifeless for months, this is the method to bring it back. Try it once, watch the difference, and you'll understand why the Amish never waste time turning their compost. They simply feed it correctly from the start. For more proven composting and soil-building secrets that make your garden thrive naturally, subscribe to Hydro Haven and share this guide with another gardener who's tired of waiting for their pile to finish. The old ways still hold the best answers, especially when it comes to the living science beneath your soil.